Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. Tuchel's press conference has already happened, which means we can now preview this. Do a proper preview show. We can go through what he spoke about, which we're going to do. We're going to go through his comments. We're going to go through the head-to-heads. We're going to do that 11, that proposed 11 that we want to see. We're going to open them lines. We're going to do everything we always usually do. But before we move forward, you know what I need you guys to do? Smash that like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe to GNA TV. Please do that. Share on your socials. Let's let people know that we are live. The Premier League is back. The Premier League is back. And it starts with Chelsea tomorrow. But before we move forward, let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and welcome back to Premier League football. Chelsea, or should I say Leicester versus Chelsea, 12:30 kickoff tomorrow. Big game on the back of international duties. It's going to be an interesting one. We're going to need to turn up. And it's going to be interesting to see how Chelsea respond. To coming back out of the internationals. We've got some tough games. We spoke about them through the international break. Leicester, Juventus, Man United are our next 3 games within November. And they're games that Chelsea are going to have to bounce back and show that championship-esque football. So we're going to go through what Tuchel spoke about in the press conference. We're going to go through the head-to-heads because it's always good to do a bit of head-to-heads. Just get a bit of history before we head down there. Do the lineups, the proposed 11. Open the lines, get you guys in, have your thoughts. And yeah, the same old thing as we do every day on GNA TV that we bring for you guys. But let's see who's in the chat. Keep smashing them likes as well. Big up to Fator. He says, see you at Leicester tomorrow. Big up to Fator. He did actually offer me a ticket, but I couldn't go. Couldn't go tomorrow. I'd love to have, but try and sort me out Man United tickets, mate. That's the game I need to sort out the most. Tuchel said Lukaku is not starting. We're going to get into that, Andre, but big up to you. Good to see you in the house. Bex is in the house as always as well. Bex, big up to you. Nice to see you as well. We got the Chelsea boy in the house. Says big up ones. Big up. Yeah, says big up. So big up to you, my guy. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you, Fator. I need Leeds and Man United. I could have gone Juventus, but Leeds and Man United is what we need. Harry's in the house. Harry, big up to you, my guy. Says you watching Chelsea versus Leeds 23s. What time is that? I don't even know what times that it is. Let me know in the chat. Over 15 of you here right now, guys. Let's get them likes up, please. Subscribe, like I keep saying, if you're new here. Let's delve into that press conference because it was an interesting press conference that we see today, and it was some interesting stuff. Even though we'd seen Romelu Lukaku training. See, images can be deceiving. He wasn't specifically training with the boys. He was doing his own individual training. So Tuchel came out and he did rule out Romelu Lukaku and Kovacic for the game tomorrow. So no Mateo Kovacic and no Romelu Lukaku going into that game. Now, makes it interesting because when we were talking yesterday, we were talking about the potential of him returning. Even I said, I think we should start with him. Some people saying come off the bench. He is not available. Will he be available? Will he be available against Juventus and Man United? I mean, there was a question asked of Tuchel, which we'll look into in a bit. But Mount returned to Cobham earlier in the week after not joining up with the England squad with his dental surgery, whilst Timo Werner took part in full training on Thursday after his hamstring. So my thing is this. Mount and Werner, I think, will return. I think we'll return on the bench. We're going to talk about the proposed 11, who we think is going to start, etc., a bit later on. But in terms of players missing, Lukaku, Kovacic are no's. That means for me, Jorginho is probably going to have to come back in. We have got N'Golo Kante. Ruben Loftus-Cheek hasn't played any real games as well. The Belgian was forced off the pitch. Blah, blah, blah. Tuchel said, I can tell you that Matteo and Romelu are still out. Romelu is very close to team training, so hopefully we'll join the squad on Sunday. He's pushing hard to try and come back as soon as possible. Now, it might be a case of that we get to Juventus, and even though he's training, he's still not fit. He's not fit to start. So I think Tuchel's aim is to give Lukaku minutes against Juventus and start him against Man United. That's what I think our aim is with him. In terms of Mateo Kovacic, he will take more days until he's ready. That tells me that he's missing at least Juventus and Leicester, so I don't see him in that. There is a potential that we may have Mateo Kovacic back. Mateo Kovacic back for the Man United game, which will be a big boost going into that game. Timo is training since yesterday. We have had another 2 hours training in. We have another training in 2 hours. Then we will decide whether it makes sense if he's in the squad or on the bench. We can only decide after training later. So for me, if he's training, he had trained yesterday and he goes into training today, I don't see why he can't be on the bench. You know, he's there, he's playing, he's fit. Christian Pulisic, guys. I'm going to repeat myself. Christian Pulisic is fine, is what Tuchel said. He went to internationals. He didn't get injured. He didn't come back with any little knocks. We have a fit Christian Pulisic that's actually had minutes now because he has gone to international. He's played more football there as well. So for me, that is a good thing. That is a good thing that Christian Pulisic comes back. And for me, he should be ready to start. Thiago Silva will be training. He did not play, but of course he is in some trouble in his body and some time differences. So even though he didn't play against for Brazil, there is a good opportunity that he may still be rested because of the time differences. I don't think Thiago Silva is going to be too worried about that. If his body is ready and he's ready to play football as good as he is, I don't see Thiago Silva saying, you know, don't play me. Mason is back in training, looking hungry and fresh and good in spirits. We need to evaluate him in training sessions. He looks good, but we need to see if he can start or if he can play 90 minutes. Again, I think when we're going to talk a bit about it later when we do the team lineup, I think Mason Mount is probably going to be on the bench. He's probably going to be on the bench. All I can say is that the moment we try hard, if everything works and perfectly, blah, 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 blah. So Sunday, then on Monday, so they were just talking about Lukaku here. So what you're saying is, could Lukaku be fit in time for Juventus or Man United? Tuchel's response to that is pure speculation and will not help, said Tuchel. All I can say is for the moment, we will try hard. If everything works out perfectly and he's training on Sunday, then on Monday, he can maybe join the group on the bench. But there's a lot of ifs and buts. I don't want to put pressure on him. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself, is what he's saying there. We will not rush things and we'll take time. We'll take things serious as always. We will always have talks with doctors and physios and with the player. And if there is something to be decided, it is good. It is good, and we'll decide on Monday. So I think that in terms of Romelu Lukaku, don't rush him. We don't need to rush Romelu Lukaku back. If he's training, he's doing his individual training, cool. Let him do that. Let him do that. You know, there's no real no is the answer to that then, Harry. I'm here talking about the game tomorrow, unfortunately. Lukaku's still not training. He is training, but he's doing isolated training. So he's training on himself. So them images of us seeing him running up and down is not with the actual main camp, which is fine as well. Big up to Daniel Shed and Shotters, new YouTube channel. Make sure you go and check them out as well. He says, subscribe. Please do that. Big up to Chi. He says, what's up, Jem? Big up, chat, smash, and like the button and the like button, guys. Big up to him. Lukaku and Kova versus Man United. We have enough to beat Leicester. I think Lukaku will be back for Juventus. I think he will get minutes off the bench, and I think that he will start against Man United. In terms of Mateo Kovacic, I think we're in a position where he misses Juventus and he misses Leicester, as we've already been confirmed. And there's potential that he may be on the bench of Man United. Now, whether he starts that game, yet to be seen. But over 10 minutes in, nearly 25 of you here. Smash the like button, guys. Please smash the like button, subscribe. We're going to open up the lines very soon, as always, as well. We have enough to beat Leicester. I agree. I can see 3 points. Hard matches are coming up. Needs to have healthy players, is what CL's saying. Yeah, we do need the 3 points. And it is, these next couple of games are massively hard. They're going to be testing. They're going to be games that Chelsea are going to have to, for me, I called a draw, but for me, they're going to have to they're going to have to pull their weight. They're going to have to show them do their bit. So this Leicester game is quite tricky. Don't know why I'm not too confident. And Chi, you're not alone. This Leicester team are missing Tielemans. Tielemans is a massive player for Leicester. And the one thing before we go into other bits and bobs, I want to talk a little bit into depth about is that when you look at Leicester and you look at what their strengths are as a team, for me, it comes through the midfield. Their midfield between Tielemans, Maddison's, and Ndidi is where they tick. When I used to say to us that in our system, the most important players for me are our wing backs to get the system ticking. It's Leicester's main core of their squad for me is their midfield. If they win midfield battles, they tend to win games. Losing Tielemans is huge. Indeed, he's still a top player and can still do it himself. Maddison on his day, provided he gets given the ball, can hurt people. However, losing Tielemans in the form that he has been in is a big miss for them. Some people would say that might be the damage. And they haven't been playing that well. They have won games, but they haven't been playing that well, Leicester. And where Chelsea will beat Leicester tomorrow is the midfield. If we win the midfield battle without a Tielemans, which they haven't got, all right, we haven't got Mateo Kovacic, but we've got more depth, let's just say, then we should win this game. But it's going to be the battle of the midfield. Yes, Jamie Vardy's an issue going the other way, but he usually gets fed from where? The midfield. It's the midfield that find Vardy on them runs. And that's what I'm saying. If you allow them to dominate, you allow Leicester to overrun you. And it's so important that we start well tomorrow. Going to Leicester, they have to come out. We have to come out. We have to dominate. We have to keep the ball more than them. We have to make them run around. We have to, really pin them back. Pin them back. Don't give them time on the ball. Get in their face. If we start slow and lethargic without Tielemans, giving Maddison time on the ball, we can get hurt. We can get hurt. And what you don't want is in the first 20, 25, 30 minutes is us be down 1-0 to Leicester. You know what I mean? By an Iheanacho or Jamie Vardy goal because we were a bit slacking. Don't want that. If we start off on the right foot, we win the midfield battle. We win the midfield battle against them. We will win this game. The issue I have is that we don't start games well enough. Chelsea have not started games well enough. We need that. And they're coming back off an international break. I don't know. We will see. It's yet to be seen, This Leicester game is quite tricky. Don't know what I'm too confident. I hear that. Big up my guy, Jim. Your support, I can't say thank you enough. No worries, my guy. Big up to you. Vardy/Daka or Iheanacho. I think they'll go for Vardy and Iheanacho. Daka's not even been playing games. I think that they'll go with that. But missing Tielemans is a big thing for them. It's a big thing for them. They do leak goals. Soyuncu, I think Evans is injured as well. They haven't got no Fofana. I've been told that Fofana, Evans, and Tielemans are out. They're not even fit. So that's a big loss for them. I know Fofana's been out anyway, but Johnny Evans could be an issue. It's going to be interesting. I keep saying to you, Chelsea start well. They win the midfield battle. They get in their faces. They're hungry on the ball. We will beat Leicester. But the way we beat Leicester is by winning that midfield battle because that's their strength. Leicester's strength is their midfield. Their midfield is their main priority. Look, let's just forget the game. It's over. If I go 1-0 down, we're not good at coming from behind. Look, no Romelu Lukaku will have Kai Havertz leading the line, in my opinion. The one thing I would say is without the Lukakus and Werners, the movement's there. If the movement's right and we play the right team and the right formation, we should have enough to beat this Leicester team. This team's still good enough to go and get it done. Go and get the job done. Big up to Football Star in the house. Harvey Barnes is another guy that pops up with goals for Leicester. He does. And again, he can cause problems. But in Reece James and Christensen or Aspie, whoever it is that's playing off that wing, we have enough to deal with that. My biggest thing is the midfield. This is why does Kante start? Kante need to be in this game for us to win the midfield battle. Jorginho. I'd like to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek tomorrow. I think his progressiveness going forward with the ball and breaking down, we're going to do the lineups in a bit, would work. There's a couple of things. We're going to delve into it in a bit. Good afternoon to you, Big Ron. Big up to you. Over 40 of you here right now. 15 minutes in. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We're on our road to 3.5k subscribers. Big up to everyone that's in the chat at the moment as well. I hope you're having a good Friday and you're well and everyone's, having a decent. We're looking forward to the weekend anyway. But another thing to improve is our finishing. Lukaku is still out, so we need to be clinical, whether he's up front. Yeah. And listen, it might be one of them games where we score across the pitch, where everyone contributes. We need contributors, We need contribute. Big up to Taha. Hope you're well, mate. Does Barnes play off the right or left? He usually plays off the left, cutting in. So, like I said, Reece James playing there should be enough. Leicester's defence can be got at needs players like Pulisic and Cho. We're going to delve into that. Jorginho, Ruben pivot. I hear that as well. Barnes is on the left. Big up to Nick Blues in the house. He says, big up, Jim. We are winning tomorrow. Big up to you. We have to win tomorrow. I did say draw. But now they've lost Tielemans, and I keep stressing their midfield battle. Their strength is their midfield, Leicester. We win the midfield battle, we win tomorrow. That's what we'll say. And if we start correctly, hope Ross is not in the lineup tomorrow. God, I don't want to see Ross Barkley on that pitch tomorrow. I didn't want to see him in the lineup. We don't need Ross Barkley. You know what I mean? Especially when we have everyone fit, barring Lukaku in our forward line. Big up Nick Blue. Big up to you, bro. Big up to Couch Critic. Big up to you, Zul. Let's quickly delve into let's delve into a bit of history, and then we'll do the lineups, and then we'll open up the lines, get you guys involved, have your thoughts, etc. So let's delve into the head-to-heads between Chelsea and Leicester. Forgetting the games at Stamford Bridge, I just want us to concentrate on the games that we played at Leicester. In the last two visits to Leicester, we've won, both in the FA Cup and Premier League, 1-0 and 2-0. So good responses. So we're trying to slowly turn it into a good ground for us. Back in Feb 2020, we drew. Then we drew again. So 2 draws in between 2020 and 2019. So 2 wins, 2 draws. And then we lost back in 18. And then it just got a bit torrid because we lost in 2018 in March. We lost in 2017 in September. We lost in 2017 of Jan. We lost in 2016 of September. And then we won. So we broke, we won. Actually, we broke a duck because we lost there and we lost there. What I'm saying is it's not an easy ground. We've got a habit of losing. It's say a bogey ground, but it's a ground that we've not always had much joy from. So based on our recent form, yes. Look, we've won our last 2 visits there. But prior to that, we've won 2, drawn 2, and then we've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've lost 5. So if you're going to do it based on a scale of 10 games overall since we visited there, we've lost a lot more than what we've won. So drawing 2, winning 2, and losing 6 in theory. So, we can look at this as good news because we are slowly making it a ground that we're winning. We're winning is the most important thing I'd say. So, yeah, bear that in mind. If we don't start well, if we don't win that midfield battle, it could be a long day for us. Not to say we could lose, we could draw, but my point is we don't need to drop points. Chelsea should not be dropping points. That's not what we want to see. But there's the head-to-heads for you guys. Just thought I'd drop that in. Over 40 of you here. Smash that like button, guys, as always. 42 of you here. Thank you, ads. Just simply saying. Big up to Simon, who's in the house. Hope you're well. Leslie says, how you feel about Barkley is how I feel about Ziyech. I feel exactly the way I feel Barkley, the way I feel about Ziyech as well. They're both just not good enough at the moment, They aren't the same team as they were in the FA Cup final. I hear that. And we do owe them one for that, actually. Actually beating us with that Tielemans rocket. That done us, man. At the King Power, I think our record isn't good. And we just reviewed it. If we were going to do it on a scale of the last 10 games away, we've won 2, drawn 2, and lost 6. So, it isn't the most, one of our favourite grounds. It's not a ground that we go and smash teams at, smash Leicester at. They have won their fair share. So we're going to have to turn up. We're going to have to win that midfield battle, guys. It's important that we do that. Bro, that is Leicester's record. Yeah. Leicester is a team that can cause you problems if you start passively. Of course they are. Of course they are. Of course they are. What's the update on Lukaku and why is he still out? He's still out because he's still not found his fitness. People forget he's been out for nearly over 3 weeks now. Even though he's training and he's doing individual training, he's just not ready to start this game. Tuchel said there's a possibility he might be in training with the team on Sunday, but then going into Tuesday, I think he might be on the bench. He'll get some minutes and then he'll be ready to start for Man United. That's what we hope, but we'll have to wait and see. We need to beat them 2-1 after the FA Cup. Yeah, I hear that as well. Werner is back. Lukaku and Cover still out. Yeah, Werner is back. Mount is back on who I think will start on the bench as well. Lukaku will cover out. Guys, nearly over 50 of you here, 20 minutes in. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I am going to open up the lines very soon, but we are going to do more of a first time I get to actually do a lineup where I kind of know where we're at, because usually when I try and do my preferred lineup or what I think Tuchel's going to do, it's always on the back of his press conference. Obviously, his press conference was earlier this morning, so let's do it. Let's do it. Right, here we go. This is an easy one. So in the chats, guys, let me know in the chat what your thoughts and feelings are. Position. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about position by position, and then I'm going to explain why I think it's important that we start with this lineup. Why I would start with this lineup, not Tuchel start, but Mendy in goal. No questions to really talk about. He deserves to be in goal. Best goalie in the world. Best in form. Best in the Premier League. Whatever. Mendy is an important figure to us at the moment. In terms of the right centre back one, it's a bit of an issue for me because Thiago Silva. From what Tuchel's saying, Thiago Silva's he hasn't been playing for Brazil, but it's the time difference that might be the issue as to why he doesn't start this game, and he probably plays in the Juventus game. Now, do not be surprised if he does not start. Do not be surprised if he does not start. And if he does not start, then there's a good opportunity that we might see Aspie. There's a good chance that we might see Aspie start. Some people would say Chalobah, maybe because of Harvey Barnes, but I think Aspie can deal with Harvey Barnes. He's not the quickest of individuals in my eyes. Yes, he's a tricky player, but between Aspie and Reece James, I think that's good enough. Asking to deal with it, and Aspie won't have to worry about his recovery pace. It will just be about him holding his position, against Harvey Barnes, because Harvey Barnes will want to run behind. Harvey Barnes will want to pick the ball up and run at him directly. Aspie is one of the best at doing the one-on-ones. When it comes to one-on-ones with whoever it is that he's up against, he can deal with it. I don't worry about that. And with Reece James checking back behind him, I think that will work. This is if Silva doesn't start. And from the sounds of it, I don't think he will. Christensen, for me, will get moved into the middle. Now, the reason Christensen has to play either on the right centre-back or the middle is because of Jamie Vardy. And we know what Jamie Vardy can do, right? We know he has the pace. We know that he can hurt in behind in these pockets. And you need people that can cover this, that can cover the space with speed. And it will be Christensen's priority to mark him out the game. I have no issues with Christensen at the moment. I think he's playing out of his skin. His form is something else at the moment as well. So I think Christensen should be starting in this game up against Jamie Vardy, which would be interesting. It would be interesting to see. In terms of the left centre back, again, it's just easy for me. It has to be Rudiger. I would start with that back four, and people say, "Well, why don't you play Chalobah?" But I just feel in this type of game, on the back of an international duties, we need to start, and we need leaders. We need to be on top of it. And with Rudiger, he will be up against Iheanacho. It could be up against what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name down the wing for Leicester. It will come back to me in a minute. But again, got a lot of pace, gets behind. So between Rudiger and Christensen, they can contain Vardy. Christensen, Aspie can contain Vardy. Harvey Barnes, he can deal with. Christensen can deal with Vardy, making runs behind with his pace. He can match him. Mendy always plays a high line, which is good. So this is why I say it's important that we dominate and keep the ball well. Don't give them the ball. Don't allow them to start quick. We start quick. We impose ourselves on them. We win the ball higher up the pitch, and we stop them from having any real penetration against us in the game. Moving on, Ben Chilwell has to start because, as I keep explaining, our wing-backs are the most important thing in this system. If we're going to be successful, if we're going to create, if they're going to even contribute to a goal, defend, recover, because he can do this, he can get in the box, he can do everything. He has to play. Him and Reece James are. And I've said it since day dot, even when Blimmin Alonso was getting in the team and everyone was saying, but he deserves to play. He deserves to play. This is our most balanced wing back two, our best wing back two. Chilwell and James, not only good going forward with the ball, James has improved massively in terms of his ability to actually drive with the ball. If you watch him now, he runs at players, he drives into the midfield with the ball. He imposes himself progressively because he has that. He has that in his locker, and you need that. And yes, if we are far up the pitch and we need to recover, they both have the pace to do that. They can recover. They can support Rudiger, Christensen, and Aspie. This is the best five, I think, for this game going into it. In terms of Jem giving Krusty prop, do you know what I mean? Big up to JJ as well. Hope you're well, my guy. Hope you are well. Over 50 of you here, guys. Let's please smash the like button. I don't want to have to keep reminding you guys, subscribe if you're new as well. Hit that notification button as well. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. That'll let you guys know when we go live. Get us to 3.2k if you are new as well. I will be opening up the line straight after this, Matt. Straight after this, I will open up the lines, which will be very soon. Let me just quickly continue and finish off this and why I would do this. In terms of who plays in the middle, it's a bit of a tricky one for me because Jorginho has played back-to-back games for Italy. Kante hasn't. But then there's the issue of can Kante and Ruben play together? You saw them against Brentford. They got a bit outrun in the middle and we lost control. What I would like to see is this. This is what I would like to see. But I would like to see Jorginho and Ruben. Ruben, yeah. I'd like to see Jorginho and Ruben. I think that works. If you look at it from an attacking emphasis, I think we need to be progressive. Ruben will pick the ball up and he will drive. He will create space. He will drag players. And if we're going to win the midfield battle and we've got more of the ball, you want a player that can be progressively good with it. What you don't want is a Kante and a Jorginho, for me. If you do a Kante and a Jorginho, you then become too defensive for me, for my liking. Well too defensive for my liking, because where you need to be effective when you have got the ball and you're dominating the ball is in these areas. Now, we don't see Jorginho doing that enough because he sits, and Kante does do it, but he's not really got that final third pass. He can't take a shot. He can't really dribble around players. He can do a job, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want to see him both. It's either Jorginho and Ruben for me, or it's Kante and Ruben. And Kante just sits. And that might happen just because Jorginho has played games. Jorginho has, played back-to-back games for Italy. And it's not why no Kante. It's not that I don't want Kante to play. I just think that from us needing to win this game, for us to get the maximum points, be progressive, have the movement. The movement is what I want. Yeah, dominate the game. You have to have a Ruben. So if Jorginho does play, because we need to dictate and control the game, Kante has to sit on the bench and Ruben has to play for me. Just in terms of his style. Kante for me can play against Juventus. Now you could have Juventus, Kante playing, or you take Jorginho off and you put Kante in. But I want to see Ruben. I don't want to see a Jorginho and Kante in the middle. It just gives us more options going forward. Not only have you got your wing backs doing that, you have him doing that, So that would be my reason for wanting Ruben there as well. In terms of the forward line, interesting because Thomas Tuchel come out and said no Romelu Lukaku. So he won't be playing. He won't be featuring whatsoever in this game. However, Kante is really good every time he plays against his old team. And then people say he's not a sitter. So, it makes it hard, doesn't it? Because it depends what you want from the game. If you want a Ruben, if you want a Jorginho and Kante to play in this game, then you're defensively a lot more better. Don't get me wrong. But then what is it? What are you getting moving forward? I mean, listen, we've got Chilwell and James. That helps. Maybe we can just play Kante and Jorginho. Maybe I'm just being a bit more too aggressive in terms of wanting a Ruben, someone that can actually progressively move forward with the ball. Because that's what I want. I want someone that can drive deep into the into the opposition's box. You know, that is exactly what I want us to do. Let me just quickly do the front line, guys. Over 60 of you here, smash the like button, guys. Subscribe, please, if you're new to GNA TV as well. We're on our road to 3.2k. I am going to be putting the link in the chat very, very soon as well. Ram, the link will be in the chat very soon, mate. Let me just finish off what I'm doing here. In terms of the front line, for me, Havertz has to start again. Kai Havertz leads the line. There is no one else that starts other than Kai Havertz. Got his goal against Germany. Good for him. Want to see him putting the ball in the back of the net more for Chelsea. But he's integral and he's important to the movement and the style that Chelsea play. So Havertz has to play. And this is who I want to see. And this is what I think he's going to do. You know that? I really think he's going to do this. I think you're going to have a Callum Hudson-Odoi, Havertz, and a Christian Pulisic. That is what I want to see going forward. Look how many ball carriers we have on the pitch if Ruben plays. This is where you might not need Ruben. This is where you could probably say, all right, bench, Kante, yeah? Because you have people that are progressive. It will be good to see our two ball carriers in the forward line carrying the ball and being direct. So Hudson-Odoi will do that and he'll move. Pulisic will do that and he'll be direct in the box. Reece James can get down the wing. Chilwell will get down the ring. They will link up well, you know. And the good thing about Pulisic that he does more than anyone else is that he will arrive in the box late. He will get on the end of, he will get on the end of headers. He will get on the end of that back post and tap it in. He will drive with the ball from deep. He'll pick it in pockets here. You know, I would still like to see Ruben there because can you imagine having Ruben, Pulisic, and all playing? Like they would be running around everywhere. They wouldn't know who to mark because it would be so hard to just pick up an individual. You know, it'd be so hard to pick up because he will be doing that. He will be doing that with the ball. He'll be doing that with the ball. And then it's just the movement off. Havertz will be able to make runs into pockets because these two will dribble and attract players to him. If Ruben's doing it from deep, he will pull the defence out, which will then allow Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic and Havertz to drive into the space of pockets behind. And this is why I say it's important that we play this like this. Mason Mount and Werner on the bench. Bring him on the second half. But I think this is the most effective team without Kane on the bench. You know, the link up between them two would work. Chilwell getting down the wing, James getting down the wing. Offensively going forward, that screams goals to me. That screams goals. That screams creativity. That screams dribbling ability. That screams everything. Everything that you would want for us to be successful tomorrow. If we want to go and win this game tomorrow, we have to play, like for me, like this. We have to go and be aggressive, get in their face, press high up. You know, I think this works so much for me personally. Do you think Tuchel might opt for a Ziyech in the front three, Bex? I hope not, because no, not now we've got Pulley back. Pulley's fit, he plays for me. He has to play. No Ziyech, he slows us down. I agree. This is such a saucy lineup. For me, it screams sauciness. It screams a bit of Salt Bay. You know, a bit of Salt Bay? A little bit of Salt Bay. Oh, mate. Do you agree with my lineup, guys? I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. Over 70 of you here, nearly 80 of you here in the chat. Is this your preferred lineup? What would you do different to what I've said? Do I think Thomas Tuchel could do this? Potentially. I think this could happen. The only reason Silva, like I said, don't play is because of his time difference arriving late. So Christensen can fill in there. Aspie can fill next to him. Ruder can be. That's strong enough. Reece James and Chilwell are our best balance going forward and backwards. Play them. They'll give us creativity. They'll give us everything we need. Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho. Jorginho will sit deeper. Loftus-Cheek will support. And when Loftus-Cheek has the ball, he will drive. He will attract the midfield. He will cause problems. He'll make it hard. He'll make it hard for them. He'll make it hard for them to actually, in many ways, dominate the game. Because Ruben is so good with the ball. He wins free kicks. He's good with his dribbling, etc. And then in Callum Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic and Havertz, you have the movement. You have the interchange. You have the dribblers. So if Hudson-Odoi's got the ball, Havertz and Pulisic make runs. If Pulisic's got the ball, Hudson-Odoi, Havertz makes the run. They're all good with the ball at their feet. That will scare the Leicester squad and defence. Seeing that is saucy. And no, I do not want to see Ziyech. I don't think Chalobah needs to start this game. I think we just slot Aspie back in. There's no reason as to why Chalobah has to start. I think this is my dream team. If I see this tomorrow, I'm telling you now, there's over 80 of you here. If I see this team lineup tomorrow, I am going to go nuts on social media. I am. And then it's just going to be down to them putting in that performance. They're still going to have to implement it themselves. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is it. It's done. It's game over. But if this team is hungry at the beginning, shuts them down quickly, wins the midfield battle, which I keep saying, Leicester's strengths is their midfield. You win that midfield, you beat Leicester. You win that midfield, you beat Leicester. If we do that, and we get our key players involved, Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi, James, Havertz, and they all link up well, this could be a 2-3-0. I'm not even lying. Plus, because they're not in great form. Leicester are not in great form right now. They can hurt us, though. And if we are slow and lethargic and sloppy, they will score against Chelsea. They will get that 1-0. I don't want to see us be 1-0 behind. I don't want us to be chasing games and then having to then play. I want us to come out. I want us to come out and be ready and go, look, let's do it. Let's go. Start from the beginning. Start the way you mean to go on. It's a saying in life. Start the way you mean to go on. I want to see a good start tomorrow. If we do that, we win this game. Big points. Big points, I'm telling you. I think Mason should start over Pulisic, then Pulisic should come on for Odoi. But, the reason Mason's not in the team for me, and I've just, I said earlier, is that from what Tuchel was saying, is just to say, like, he's going to analyse him. He's looking okay and fit and whatever, but he just doesn't know whether he's ready to start. I've got a feeling that Mason can come off the bench. He can come off the bench. He can come on for Pully. Pully's been playing internationals. Yeah, people say, yeah, but you've got to be careful with him. But he hasn't been playing games. He will want to start. If he's fit, you play Pulisic in this game. Not that Mason Mount would be an issue, because Mason Mount coming in this team, providing Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi are both playing, works. It still works. But I have to see Loftus-Cheek if Mason plays. That's my thing. If Loftus-Cheek doesn't play and Kante plays, then I have to see Pulisic. I have to see Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Havertz. And if Kante and Jorginho play, cool. If Ruben plays with Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi, I'm over the moon. I want to see that. The line's going to be open for you guys very soon. There's nearly 100 of you here, 38 minutes in. Hit that like button. Smash it. Smash the like button. I want to know your thoughts on this lineup. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Come in, have your say. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you would do differently. And let me know where Chelsea can win this tomorrow. Let me know who is for you the most important player. Chalobah hasn't had one bad game. No, he's not. There's nothing wrong with Chalobah. Chalobah's cool, but Chalobah's still growing into it. He's someone that we can throw in games here and there. Cool. I'm cool with that. I have no problem with Chalobah. But we're going away to Leicester at a ground where we've won 2, drawn 2, and lost 6. Not to say that that's a thing, but just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. Right, let me open up the lines. There we go. Link is in the chat. Get yourselves involved. Come and have your say, people. Come and have your say about the Tuchel press conference and about this lineup. This is orgasm lineup. If this happens tomorrow and this is the lineup, this is what I want. This will win. This will beat Leicester. This lineup. What are you saying, Ram?
Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up? Sorry, I couldn't come. I was a bit busy. So, yeah.
No worry, mate. No worries. I mean, it was a decent show. Can't complain. It'd be good to see you next week if you're free. But yeah, Ram, what's your thoughts on this game tomorrow? Leicester, Chelsea. See my lineup. Obviously, Tuchel said Lukaku's not fit as well. Werner and Mount might be on the bench or maybe available. Stein, who knows? We'll see. But what are your thoughts?
I don't know about you, but I think it's going to be a confident, easy win for Chelsea. I think Leicester, I've not been impressed with them. The players that they've brought in haven't really done much. I know Fafana has been injured, and that's a massive blow. I think the only player that's done well for them is Vestergaard. He's been okay, but again, Soyuncu hasn't stepped up from last season. Johnny Evans, he's getting older. You can't rely on him that much. The only time I saw them convincingly beat someone was United, and United was all over the place. No system, no nothing.
It's not too bad.
It was shocking. And compared to you guys are efficient. Not efficient. Sorry, not efficient. You're well structured, and there isn't any real faults defensively. So I think it's going to be an easy win for you guys. Honestly, I'm
I
not
just want
been
to
impressed
quickly,
with that stuff.
just want to quickly jump on saying here because Gudiefu, that's incorrect. I'm sorry. I'll tell you why this is incorrect. Because as a wing back, yes, because he hasn't got the recovery speed. But playing him in his preferred position, it's not about his speed. It's about his positioning. And up against the Harvey Barnes, there won't be many times where he will have to go the other way. And if there's anyone that's very good on one-on-one, if there's anyone that can win a one-on-one battle, so in terms of his positions and the way he positions himself in the game, I think Aspie's fine as a right centre back. The only time he struggles with pace is when you ask him to play as a wing back. It's two different positions in our system and how we play the game. Two different, you know. So, yeah. What are you saying, C1? What are you saying, bro?
I'm good.
Good man. Good. What do you think about this lineup, man? Tell me.
Yeah, I think it's very good. With Evans out, they're gonna have Sionchu and Vestergaard, and that centre back pairing when they played has not looked good. They have no pace whatsoever. So if we play Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic, I think we will get at them very easily. With no Tielemans, they literally have practically no ball retention in that midfield because Madison has been poor since February, and Samari is still getting used to the Prem, and Chowdhury is just a squad player. So we should win the midfield battle, whoever we play. I like this pivot, but I think Kante is gonna start, to be honest. And I think Chalaba should play right centre back. That's all I
Yeah.
have. And
No,
I
I
think
hear that.
Mount will start, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just going based on what I felt Tuchel, for the way Tuchel was sort of talking over the press conference, and I just felt that he was very not sure. I'd say unsure. He was saying he was fit and he was playing well in training that, but they're not sure whether he'll be good to start or off the bench. But I think him and Werner might just come off the bench. And look, Pulisic's been playing international games, so he has got fitness now, right? So if he's fit and Callum Hudson-Odoi doesn't really deserve to be dropped, why not just give him a shot? You know, this with Havertz. And look, I'm cool with Ruben not playing and having Kante there, but I can't stress that if Kante and Jorginho play, Pulisic has to play with Hudson-Odoi for me. That's what I would want. If he doesn't, if Pulisic doesn't play and Mount plays, then I want Ruben Loftus-Cheek there. I don't want Kante in the midfield because progressively, I think it's important that we have people that can move forward with the ball. And Kante, even though he can do it, he's not got a real no-end product. He's not got that dribbling ability to do that. He's more of a interceptor, breaks the play down and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll see what Matt. What you saying, man? What you saying?
Yeah, man, Jam, I'm well. Hope everyone's well here. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. You know, it's going to be a good one. I mean, we're all having different kind of lineups here. I mean, I said this exact same lineup. I don't think Pulisic will start, to be honest with you. I don't think we'll be rushed back, unlike we've maybe seen Mount, who's kind of been at training. I mean, he's had some mitigating factors with his tooth, and it looks like he's lost a bit of weight. Pulisic, I mean, I would love him to start with Hudson. That'd be fantastic, but I do see Mount starting. Other than that, it looks better. And again, I think Chalobah will start over Azpilicueta because I think, you know, with the Kunde news coming back in, if we're saying Chalobah can fill in Kunde's role, Chalobah should be starting these games realistically. And I think at training, if he's at training, he's would have been performing well there, so he should be ready to go for this game. So I would put him over Azpilicueta for this one.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, look, the one thing I would say is there's no real right or wrong answer to it because we've got players that can play, and play to a certain standard or level. You know, barring that Barkley and Ziyech don't play, I'm cool. Like honestly, and James and Chilwell play, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really fussed if Silva comes in, if not, if Aspie's playing, if he's not. But I'd like to see Ruben play. I would. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't and he played Kante and Jorginho. I just wouldn't. But
if he's at that level, if he's at this level now, he should be starting these games, and I think he's ready for these games.
Yeah, no, I do hear that. What are you saying, VJ?
Big up, Jim. First of all,
Big up, man.
I see lineup. It's good. I mean, there's couple of ways to look at this lineup, right? The lineup that we'd like to see on the pitch and the lineup that Tuchel probably will deploy, right? And that is where I kind of differ from what we've mentioned here. I think Chalobah and Ziyech could probably play in this game. The reason why I think Ziyech could play is probably whenever there is this right flank which which has a bit of trouble. Ziyech is the person who comes in most of the time. I don't know why Tuchel does that, why he trusts that, but why he trusts in Ziyech so much. But then it's been that way. We've seen it time and again. Whenever we've got players injured on the right wing position, he tends to replace them with Ziyech. And I think maybe, and he hasn't played any international games as well, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in this particular 2 weeks, which means he's got an extra time to train with the team, which could also be a factor in Ziyech and even Loftus-Cheek, right? For that matter, he could probably be in the squad because he's been with the training, team for the last 1 or 2 weeks, and that would have helped Tuchel picking up the team, which he had time to work with. So I think Ziyech, Loftus-Cheek, Chalobah are going to be featuring in the team. Otherwise, it looks brilliant. And also, I wouldn't really undersell Leicester because we know how dangerous they can be. And one of the reasons why I think Ziyech will be picked up is also because they're quick on the attack as well, and they tend to get out of position quite easily. And that's the area where people like Ziyech have to exploit because they can rip in a ball for Havertz or Hudson-Odoi to score something. So I think Ziyech playing here wouldn't be that much of a concern. But then this is a game for him to prove as well, if at all he's provided an opportunity.
Yeah, I do, but I've got to the point now where it's like, how many chances are we going to keep giving this guy? Like,
absolutely,
it's just driving. Like, and the thing is, I want us to get maximum points. We now have our fully fit forward line back, barring Lukaku. Now we need to start utilising different options. We shouldn't be relying on guys that are out of form to come into games where we need points. And I just think Ziyech is a player that is just I'd rather have Pulisic on there and Mason Mount, Cho. Do you know what I mean? There's so many people before him for me at the moment to play it.
Absolutely, I agree with you. The only reason I could see here is once Lukaku and Werner is already fit, but then once Lukaku comes into center forward position, then we could have Havertz and Mount playing on the right flank. We'll have options. As of now, Mount as well is not fit to play 90 minutes. That's how I put it. That's how even Tuchel was talking in the press conference. So maybe. Who knows? Even Mount can feature after 65 minutes for Ziyech, right? It could be a possibility, but then once Mount becomes fit, Ziyech is out of the window, right? But until that, we might have to see Ziyech playing these games, and we don't have any option, is what I feel.
Yeah, fair enough. What are you saying, Dan?
Oh, you're right, Jim. All right, everyone. Is everyone good?
All good, mate.
Yeah, Dan.
I want Ziyech out, and that's it. Apart from that, and then put Pulisic in.
Pulisic, yeah.
Pulisic. And then that's the team I'd pull out.
Pretty much what I proposed originally. Look, I keep saying it. I would love to just see this team play in one game. Just see it. I don't think he's gonna do it, but if he did, and I see it tomorrow, I am gonna be ecstatic, just to see this lineup. But because it gives everything. We've got Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi who are ball dribblers. Yeah, which is great. You got Loftus-Cheek that does it from deep. They're not gonna know what to do. Do you know what I mean?
Jim, you should probably post the lineup on Twitter and see, at the end of the day who gets it right.
Yeah,
something like
that. Good shout. We got Jeff CFC here. What are you saying, Jeff? First time here. We can't hear you, mate. Jeff. Yeah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, mate. I don't know if you speak now. Can't hear him. Come out and come back in, mate. Nick Blue, what you saying?
Yeah, big up, chaps.
Big up to you.
Everyone on the panel. Yeah, I agree with your front three. That's what we'll go for. Hudson-Odoi, Havertz, Pulisic. But the midfield, for me, has to be Jorginho and Kante. Reece James, Chilwell, I agree. Rudiger, Christensen, and Aspie, I think, myself, and Mendy, of course, because we need a strong defense. We have to have Aspie for the experience.
Yeah, I agree.
And we got the other two who don't need anything. With that defense, Leicester won't get past us. We're going to win tomorrow. I'm 100% sure we're going to win. And
Okay,
Havertz
that's
is
good
going to start, scoring a few more goals. And that's how we'll go. I know Loftus-Cheek deserves to start. He's a great player.
Well, no, I was
I
just
think
going to
we
read
should
this
have
now
him on
because
the bench.
Robbo's saying should never trust Loftus-Cheek in big game like this. Why?
No, he's crazy. No,
Why,
look,
Robbo? Explain.
Yeah.
Explain why you would not trust Loftus-Cheek in a
He's
game
got
like
Ziyech
tomorrow.
on his picture. He's got Ziyech as his profile pic, Gem.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, that probably says it.
That says a point.
Loftus-Cheek will be on the bench, and if we need him, he will bring him on later
Matt.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, Nick. I hear you. Matt, where do you think it can go wrong for Chelsea tomorrow?
I think we're going to go wrong. First, I think from their attack. I mean, this is the first time I'm saying that I'm scared of the attack. They've got Vardy and Iheanacho or Daka, and them two linking up is very, very scary for me. But they haven't been performing well this season, which is the only good factor and the only driving factor where I'm like, all right, we can start someone like Chalobah there. But besides that, their midfield indeed is now back. I'm a bit scared of him, but besides that, there's no one really else. I mean, their backline's been horrendous this season. So Soyuncu's been out of form. Evans has been decent, and Amani's been filling in. So they haven't been the best squad, but ultimately it's just going to be their attack.
Yeah, and do you agree with what I said earlier? I mean, Ram, you probably answered this one for me. I said that Leicester's strengths are their midfield. If you win the midfield battle, then you tend to beat Leicester. Do you agree with that comment?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you look at their best players, their best balance of players, Ndidi, Tielemans, and it could be Samari, it could be Madison, it could be anyone. Their midfield is probably their best asset. But I've been hearing that what's his name, Tielemans won't be playing, and I think even if you had Loftus-Cheek and Kante or Loftus-Cheek and even Saul, I still think you guys will win the midfield battle. I think Tielemans is pivotal in that Leicester City squad. I think any midfield you have, I think you'll be beating them. You give them the runaround.
But we still need to impose ourselves, right? Because the one thing Chelsea do not do is they do not start fast. And if we do start slow and our passing's crap and we're losing balls in the midfield and we're allowing pressure on our defence, we could easily go 1-0 behind. So I would not take this game as light, you know?
If I was a Chelsea fan, do you know what? I'd be worried about if they play a front two of Daka and Vardy and they start spraying those balls from side to side. I think I'd be very worried about that because Daka's very physical, and I wonder what it would be like when Daka's up against Azpilicueta. He's not as physically dominant in the air. He's got definitely got the defensive brain, but I wonder if he's got the physicality to match Daka. It'll be interesting to see.
I think Daka's he's not really had the opportunity, is he? When he has played, he scored a couple of goals here and there. But I don't know if Daka's one of the guys that can hurt Chelsea. I'm more worried about us allowing time in midfield on the ball in likes of Madison for Vardy to make runs behind, which might hurt us. But Christensen with his pace and the way he's been playing, I could see that Chelsea deal with that to a degree as well. So I just think Tielemans is such an important player for them because the one thing that he has improved on Tielemans is his all-round game, being able to distribute, wins tackles. His passing ability.
Well.
He's very good. For me, he's the best. I mean, indeed, he's important in what he does, which is closing things down and shutting games in. But Tielemans I think he's integral to the way that they tick in midfield.
Yeah, he's their ball progressor.
Exactly, he's their ball progressor. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, Kai Havertz, guys, are we worried about Kai Havertz's form?
Jim.
Go on.
Jim, before we get back to Chelsea, just wanted to quickly talk to you about Daka and all of these people, right? So I've been following Leicester for quite some time. They're going to probably follow a 4-2-3-1 formation, and I don't know for what reason this is. They've got three superb attackers in Iheanacho, and James. Vardy as well as this guy Patson Daka. But then they tend to play with a 4-2-3-1, which is Wadi, or probably at any given point in time, it will be just Wadi or Iheanacho playing the game, and Daka comes in after 70 minutes, 65 minutes. That's how they've been operating until now. I guess the last game is when they tried to deploy 2 people up front, but then that was also somewhere in the middle of the game. So if I were a Chelsea fan, I'd be worried. I mean, I am a Chelsea fan, of course, but I'd be worried about. I'd be worried about their midfield a lot, because they have at any given point in time they have 5 people deployed in their midfield. Indeed, NDD, Sumare, Lukman, Madison, Barnes, like 5 people are always going to be on the midfield. So it's very difficult to, and they're good at transition as well, which means it's very important for us to, block their counters and all that. So it is going to be interesting. And that's probably the reason why I'd like to see Kante to break that midfield. Otherwise, it is going to, because if both Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek are playing, probably
it is going to be interesting. And that's probably the reason why
someone's
I
bad feedback.
Yeah, we got feedback, man.
Otherwise,
At the bottom.
it is going to
Got it.
I'm getting feedback.
It's Jeff. It's Jeff's here.
Jeff, I can hear myself, mate. You need to mute whatever you're watching in the background. I can hear myself, mate. We can hear you now, but I can hear myself. What is going on?
Rams.
Why is everyone
That's
so
Rams.
like?
Rams. Jesus fucking Christ, that's killing me. Oh my God.
Ram, what are you doing? You sitting on your phone? Fuck's sake.
Just mute it first, yeah. Jesus
Oh my
Christ,
God.
it's
Listen,
killing
guys,
me.
we've got over 130 people. Sorry for you to have to listen to unfortunately, but it does happen. It does happen while we're on stream. Please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 3.2k subscribers. Please help us get there. And let us know what your predictions are for the game, guys. Let us know what your score predictions are. And give us your thoughts on this lineup, what you would change as well. Apparently, Kevin De Bruyne is got COVID.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, Man City extra came out on Twitter.
Yeah, apparently he's got COVID. So no KDB for Man City could be an issue for them.
Who's City versing though? Who are they versing? What are they even versing?
Man City are playing Everton at home.
Oh, actually, yeah, shit.
I think Everton got a lot of injuries as
They'll
well.
beat them. They'll still beat Everton, and that's not a thing. But I want to go back to Kai Havertz quickly, because he's giving mixed opinions in the Chelsea fan base at the moment. Some people saying that he's played well since Havertz and since Werner and Lukaku have been out. Some people saying he needs to be dropped. He doesn't offer anything. He doesn't do enough. Blah 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 blah. I mean, how do you overall feel about Kai Havertz and him playing?
What do we expect though, Jem?
Poor.
Like, I mean, he's 21, right? But let's
No,
let's look at the
no,
truth. Let's look at the
no.
truth. Hang on.
No,
Let's look at the truth, right?
We're not doing this.
He's been very poor. He's been very poor. I agree. But he's our only option in that strike role. What do we expect?
No.
I mean,
At the
yes, he's
moment.
going to have that long-term role. But I think he's been poor. That's 7-0. He had no contributions in. He's only scored 1 goal since this. He should have scored a lot more goals. This game, he needs to really prove himself if he wants to be starting in this season, because he's shown absolutely nothing to what we were expecting from him. I mean, all right, everyone says, all right, he plays shit the first half of the season, but for an 80 mil player, he's got to start playing much better when he has his opportunities. He's not going to get this opportunity again.
I don't think Kai Havertz has been shit. I'm going to be honest with you, so I disagree with it completely.
Oh, jeez.
I think the issue that we have with today's society of people that watch football is that if you read a stat and it doesn't match against the players, doing basically scoring goals, then it's an issue. It's like, well, he's not scoring goals, so he's crap, and that's not how it works. And if you actually look at how we've played with him in the squad, and why have we scored 17 goals since Lukaku and Werner have been gone? Yes,
Because Hudson-Odoi is playing.
No, it's not, C1. That's where you're wrong. It's not just Hudson-Odoi. It's not just that individual player.
Because of the wing backs, I think.
Yeah, no, the wing backs are important, but it's also like the movement is absolutely important. It is. It's important that, and in the Norwich game, I'll give you an example, right? I was at the game, yeah. He didn't score any goals, but his movement to drag defenders forward for then Cho to run into the pocket and then score the goal is so important. And the difference between him and Lukaku is that Lukaku won't do that. he will be very static and he'll hold the ball up. It's very predictable to know what Lukaku's going to do when he's got his ball away from the goal. But in Kai Havertz, he doesn't. He moves. He gets around the pitch. The issue you have with him playing as a false nine is that because he's the focal point, he's the focal point of this team, right? It's easy for defenders to predict his movements, yeah, so they can follow him. But this is why I don't want him to be a false nine. I want him to actually get some chemistry and play off a Lukaku or whoever it is that's going to play up front. Because his movement off the ball, where people are not watching him and running into the spaces, pockets, is what Kai Havertz is about for me. And that's probably why people are saying he's not doing well enough for his false nine, because he's not scoring goals. His movement's still there for me. His movement is still very good. It's just that he's not took his opportunities in front of the goal, which I agree he has to do. But there is more to it with Kai Havertz that people need to understand. And what he does, you won't find on stats. It takes a lot of this. You have to watch him.
Oh yeah, no, but we were watching him, Jim. We were watching him, but he hasn't still provided as a false nine position. I do agree. Movement's very, very important. You said he did provide movement. I love movement. I always said about Werner, but he hasn't provided that movement that we would see consistently. I mean, the only movement I saw was probably the Norwich one when it was one of the Mount goals where he got in, and I think he did one of the penalties. I think he was kind of there for the penalty, but besides that, he hasn't really done anything. Sorry, no, the penalty was
He's
Rudiger.
not been poor though. This is my argument. People are saying he's poor, but he's not poor.
He's been poor for a realistic striker, but in the position he's in, he's not a striker. He's done decent. But for a striker's position, he's done poor. But for himself, as a player who's 21, he's done. I'll give him an average 5 if we would rate him out of 10.
And the issue is, it's like Werner. If he scores goals, you don't have this argument. If he puts it in the back of the net, no one's saying anything about it.
You have to expect more from your £80 million player.
Jim, I have a question for you. Right, what is the difference in expectation from a regular striker to a false nine in terms of goals and in terms of how they have to play? What is the difference in expectation?
Well, an out-and-out striker is brought in a team to score goals. That's what they do. Danny Ings is a goal scorer. Romelu Lukaku is a goal scorer. They come in to score goals. False nine, a false nine, for example, like Firmino, is someone that works well in the system, which allows other individuals to score. There's your difference. Okay. Yeah.
Now, by that point, I feel Havertz is doing more than a good job. Because the reason why I say that is because he's been dropping back. Because we used to have Mount who does that for us. Right, from either of the wings, but then now we've got Havertz from who's on the false nine position, and he's trying to drop back, getting the ball, passing it to our wing backs, and we're starting the attack generally after a tackle from Havertz. So in that way, I feel Havertz has been doing a better job. Again, right. If you're talking about Havertz as a false nine, then he's doing a good job. But if you're talking about Havertz as an out-and-out striker, then probably not, right? So, and he's been playing as a false nine, and I see he has been doing okay, at least a good job. Not the best, but then a good job for Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm just saying I disagree with Paul. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's been great and he's all this, that, and the other. I just think that he does a lot of what he is doing at the moment is more of an eye test than it is a stat thing. And if you look at the stats, it's not good enough for an £8 million player. He has to score goals. I get that, and I agree.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. It's poor. That's the fact that we're saying it's poor. Is the stats?
Who's that? Who's talking? Is that Jeff?
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah,
I can't hear this guy. He's coming out. C1, what was your thoughts on Havertz, mate? Go on, tell us. How do you feel about him? If you're still there. He's obviously not there. He's been playing as an out-and-out number 9. He's most dangerous when attacking the box late and around the edge of the box. Can't do that if he's marked out of games as a full. And exactly what I said, Bex. I think that is spot on when it comes to Kai Havertz. This thing of, what annoyed me, right, is when him and Lukaku played together and we were saying he's a false 9. Why are we playing him behind? There's no chemistry. It doesn't work. That's wrong. It was because Lukaku didn't really work with anyone until Werner come in, and him and Werner even then still looked a bit. It wasn't great, was it? It just worked a little bit.
Sorry, Jam. The whole point of a false 9 is that it's meant to cover a striker's position, but they're meant to operate in a deeper role. Like if you look at Barcelona back in the day, Messi was operated as a false 9, but his job was to be a lot deeper than the likes of Villa and Pedro, so he could string things together. So That's how false nines are operated. They're meant to be like
Well,
cam.
you've got one yourself in Firmino, and this is why I said the false nine's job is to, in many ways, is to help the system in the way that they play, drop deep, link the play, and still score goals. Don't get me wrong, but their prerogative is not to just score goals. They're they're not like a Lukaku. Lukaku's not a false nine; he's an out and out striker. He's a nine.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So they're just two different players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically a cam playing as a striker, but
Exactly.
the main role is to be creative, not be the goal scorer. That's the job for your wingers.
Yeah, no, I
That's
hear
why
that.
David Villa got a lot of goals because he was the goal scorer, and Pedro chipped him with a couple of goals. But Messi's Messi. Messi does things no other player could do on the pitch. So that's why he got the goals that he got.
Yeah, no, I hear that. C1, why are you so upset with Havertz?
I'm not upset. I just keep the energy the same. Because if Timo's missing them chances, we're gonna go mad. So I have to keep the same energy.
Yeah. So for you, it's just the chances in front of goal, which he needs to put in the
Yeah,
back of the net.
yes, and sometimes his dribbling has been very poor this season. It's like he's always stuck under his feet. I feel like he's a bit like with his passing, he hasn't shown it as much as he could have this year so far. It's still a bit early, but we paid for him to be like in conversations with the big talents in the world, and he has to perform better, man. Look how Reece James performing. Look how Mount performed last year. Like I know last year there has to be a lot of context, but this year he doesn't really have any excuses.
I thought Kai Havertz was very good at the end of last year. To be
Yeah,
honest,
he was. Yeah, last 2 months he's one of our best players. But
he really showed me why we got him.
yeah, I agree.
And
you know the thing with Kai Havertz, what I saw in him, which our young attackers don't. He plays the game at his own pace, which a lot of our young players don't, which is something special to have at his age.
Yeah.
But he just needs to start doing that more, and he'll be fine.
I think he will be fine. I keep saying this. I do not worry about Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like, like when you look at Timo Werner and others and that, and you think, oh no, like even I actually have a big advocate for him as well. Like I do try and like push Timo Werner, and that's only because of I feel like sometimes he gets scapegoated when he shouldn't be scapegoated. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I just think with Kai Havertz, he has all the ability in the world to become a top world-class player at Chelsea. I really think that. And the same with maybe even Ruben to a degree. When you look at his ability on the ball was what I'm saying. He's got a hybrid of everything. If he could be consistent and play the way that he has done and get himself in this team, he could be integral to Chelsea.
Yeah, but let's look at the age difference though. Like if we're looking at Havertz, this is Havertz I'm not scared of because as you said, he's very young, but Loftus and LA and he's 26, 25. So that's a caution you got to consider.
No, I hear that.
A quick update. Chelsea 2, Leeds United 1. Chelsea youth game that is happening right now at halftime. Mbayamba with 2 goals. Like how do you call him? Like Mayamba?
Mbayamba.
Mbayamba. Did he score?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, he's you know what? I want to see him getting it. Have you seen the size of this guy from Barcelona?
Yeah,
he is like Van Dijk built. Like, do you know what I mean? He's big. You know what I mean? Like, and he's I watched bits of him. He's very good, man. I'm telling you, with the ball at his feet, he's got pace. He can tackle. Like, it'd be interesting to see if he gets into the actual team at a later stage. Kai is an integral player. Intelligent. Is that? I don't know.
You say intelligent, but
intelligent player. Except he is lacking confidence in a lone situation. He has to improve in that area. Timo is better than Kai in that area. I agree.
I agree. Havertz is a confidence player. That's one thing I agree with. He's a confidence player.
The price tag doesn't help as well. The price tag on his is your most expensive player, so you got the expectation.
No, it's not. Lukaku is.
Oh, sorry. Before at the time of signing, he was your most expensive player. Sorry. And the expectations of that is heavy, but
of course.
He's a talent, man. He's a talent. He's a very, very talented player. Like everyone knows how much I've rated this guy for such a long time. Seeing him in the Bundesliga, he'll get better. But again, he's very young. He's still learning his trade. So yeah.
Oh, I think Jem's just gone. But what's everyone saying here? What's everyone saying in the chat here? Wait, so who scored for the Leeds? Is it the under 23s, VJ?
I have no idea about Leeds.
It's the youth game.
Oh, so it's just a youth team for the thing. So who scored for Chelsea? Who was it? Moyembe.
And
Yeah.
Boyumba.
Oh, the one Jim was just talking about.
Yeah.
What's
He's
Stephen Gray saying?
1.95 meters tall.
He's mad. He was in the first squad. I saw him in a video I think the last international break. He was at the training there with the boys, and he looks like he's 26, 25. He's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
He's massive there.
Come back. Sorry, I had to say something going on, but yeah, sorry about that, guys. We've got Eric Blue and we've got Nick Blue. We've got the Blue brothers. We've got the Blues brothers.
Yeah. Can I
Blues
say
brothers,
something about Havertz?
Go on, mate.
Havertz, there's a lot of people, who don't like him and don't think he's very good. But he's only 22. I think he's playing well. Like Tuchel says, he's playing well. You got when Lukaku comes back, we're going to see who he chooses. But at the moment, I think he's doing all right, really.
I hear that. What are you saying, Eric Blue? How you feeling, bro?
Yo, how you doing, Jem? How's everyone doing?
Not bad, bro. Not bad.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right. The team looks good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the match, and let's see if Kai Havertz can score some goals because he hasn't scored a lot of goals as a striker. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, are you confident in the game tomorrow, Eric? Do you think it's something that
Yeah.
really worries you?
Nobody worries me. I have to be honest. Nobody in the Leicester team worries me. Doesn't mean we can't drop points. Obviously, we can drop points, especially after the long break. But I think the team should. If we just focus, I think we should win. I don't really see Leicester as a big threat. They seem to be very poor this season, so I expect the win.
But it's going to be important for Chelsea to start fast, and I keep saying it. They have to start on top. They have to be integral. They have to be in their faces and things like that. So it's going to be important. It's going to be important that we start well. Do you know what I mean?
Could I ask a quick?
Go on.
No, go on. Yeah.
Redneck, what are you saying?
What's going on, guys?
All right, mate.
Big
All
up
right.
Redneck, man.
Redneck
What's
in the
new?
bin.
What's new?
Big up Redneck, man.
Well, tell us this lineup. What would you do differently, and how confident are you in the Leicester game tomorrow?
This is the wish lineup, or this is what we try to predict?
But this is what barring I wanted Ruben to play in the middle.
I saw that. I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I mean,
what do you? Is that a wish or a prediction?
this is my wish, but it could happen at the same time. Wishes can come true, right?
Yeah, that's what I tell my 2-year-old. But anyway,
So
if I like the front three, if it's for me, but if Tuchel starts lineup, it's gonna be Mount versus one of those two. I don't know which one. But another thing, Thiago Silva definitely starts because
why?
Like I said, it's not about how you like. Is it like people keep thinking that if you fast forward, you need the fast defender? It's not that. You need to hold the line strong. So you need your smart defenders. You need the positional awareness as a defender. You need to know. That's why Thiago Silva looks so good, because did you see him run and try to recover? No, he doesn't make those. He knows. Exactly. It's not about the pace. People keep assuming that it's about the pace. Oh, we need the fast player. It's not. It's how you stand, how you put it yourself, so you will know where to be if the ball is coming. And Rudiger and Thiago Silva are the both most experienced ones, and they click. So I think it's going to be like a traditional lineup. Back lineup is going to be Thiago Silva and Christensen on the right. That's for me. But
what would you do in the midfield? Does Ruben start? Kante and Jorginho? What would you do?
I'm not afraid of the midfield. I heard you earlier when I was driving. I heard you earlier about the Kante and Jorginho, and what's his face, Robin Loftus-Cheek. As much as I don't like to mention some people, I do think this is the best lineup right here for
Jesus.
that particular game. But for that particular game, why you keep Jesus? Why you bring Jesus in it? You need Jesus. See what?
Jesus
Do you
plays
need
for Man
Jesus?
City, bro. Jesus plays for Man City, not Chelsea.
Well, they're saying he won't start due to travel fatigue, is what Tuchel
No, he's
said
not.
earlier,
He's not
but,
playing.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't think he will play. That's the only reason
I
I didn't
think
have
he'll
him in the
play.
team was because of the
I
racket,
think
to
he'll
be honest.
play, and I think Mount will play 100%. Because
Yep.
if you listen to the actual interview, he said Mount is ready and hungry, and the word hungry was involved in it. I don't think when you're hungry you go play as a sub for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm
That's
sure
what-
Pulisic's hungry as well. You know, he's not playing.
So I
Chalk
think
will be on the bench.
no, I don't think. I don't think Cho deserves to be on the bench. I think Cho deserves to start actually. Who deserves to be on the bench is Mount, but that's not gonna happen if he's
Hey.
hungry.
Easy.
Hang on, but how does Mount deserve to be on the bench when Pulisic
Lucky
comes
that
and walks
Johnny
in?
is not
Because
here.
because Pulisic, even though Pulisic was injured, he still had more minutes in the last couple of games than Mount. So who's gonna be ready?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's whoever's ready. I agree. I think Mount will be ready depending on his training performance. Because again, Pulisic will come in. He'll have probably a shocker because he hasn't barely played anything, and then we'll just have having those excuses again. So realistically, Mount will probably play.
We'll just play Pulisic against Juventus when Lukaku comes in, and then that's what we want to see, isn't it? Lukaku and Pulisic.
Yeah,
see if
that's
it works.
that's
when
right.
they're fit.
And who's gonna be? Do you? So you think is gonna be for the front three is gonna be Lukaku, Hudson, and Cho? Lukaku, Hudson, and Mount and Pulisic against Juventus?
No, I don't think Lukaku will start. I think he'll come on off the bench.
I think Werner at least will be ready for the game. Werner will
Yeah, I
probably
think
play.
Werner might play. Yeah.
I think hamstring is more problem than actual. Anyway, we'll see. But in this game, this is my lineup actually. How I think it's gonna be actually.
Shouldn't Loftus-Cheek start maybe? Because
I think so.
He's been playing so well, so I don't see why he should get dropped.
Who for?
But who's
Eric.
gonna be dropped? That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's going to be Kante, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
I was already talking about this particular point, right? The only reason that I don't see Ruben Loftus-Cheek playing is that both of them, Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek, can be out of position sometimes. But the midfield is going to be pretty strong for Leicester because they've got 5 people who will be consistently on the midfield, which means that we'll need someone like Kante to break them and block the transition. So that's where I feel Loftus-Cheek might not play in this game, even if we wanted. I mean, I personally want him to play, but then I think Tuchel would probably go with Kante in this game.
If Kante's fit, realistically, I think he'll start every game.
Yeah,
But it's the issue with Kante is you've got to be careful with him, haven't you? You've got to kind of like do what you do with Pulisic now because he's just.
But Jim,
you know
if
what
we're
I mean?
going to be being this careful thing, then would we be having him in this team? I think whenever he's fit, he should be starting.
play.
If you're having this risk factor, then I don't know how we can allow him
But
in
then,
the team.
do you know what, Matt? I think it's game dependent as well. Again, I think it's game dependent with a lot of our players. Like, I don't want to see when we're playing against a low block team. I don't want to see. I'm not saying Leicester. I'm just talking in general. But when we play against a low block team, I don't want to see Kante and Jorginho on the pitch. We don't need 2 defensive midfielders when we're playing against a low block team. I want someone to be progressive. Ruben Loftus-Cheek unlocks midfields. He drives. He offers something that gives us more of an easier way in of scoring goals. You know what I mean? So that's why I would give him a shout.
But
And
if
there's
you're
one
talking
more
about
thing
low
that we have
blocks,
to
this
think-
isn't a low block. Yeah, I agree with the Newcastle one. Newcastle Loftus-Cheek came on.
And one more thing that I wanted to bring about in this particular game that we haven't discussed until now is that the fixtures of both the teams, right, going forward. I mean, at least for Chelsea, we know that after this we're probably going to play against Juventus and then Man United, Watford. That's our fixture. But then Leicester has a pretty easy fixture after this. They've got a game in Poland, Legia Warsaw. They play against in the Europa League. And then Watford, Southampton, Aston Villa until 5th of December, which means that their fixtures are pretty much easier. So they're going to come at Chelsea with all they've got.
Fair enough. I hear that. We've got some telling games coming up. In obviously
By the
Leicester,
way,
Juventus, Man
I
United.
forgot. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Kante and Jorginho. I forgot. It's a away game. It's not a home game. We're going to be a little bit more defensive.
So what would you play against Juventus then? Because Mateo Kovacic is not fit. If you're going to play Kante and Jorginho against Leicester, that's my point.
Robin Loftus-Cheek.
No,
So you think
Probably
Ruben's
Ruben
better
and probably
suited for
Sal.
Juventus than he is for Leicester? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
But
I'll do
Juve are gonna play low block as well.
Yeah. What's his face? Leicester's going to come out for at least first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because everybody does eventually. Everybody does lately. So I think for us as a Chelsea, I think we need to figure out the quickest 20 minutes of the game and make sure they don't score. The quicker the Chelsea scores, the better for us. So
Yes.
Even Leicester
Oh,
is a
you,
low block
you agree
team,
with me, Jesus?
but
Of course, man.
but they
Of course,
they
Eddie.
still. One second, guys. Even though Leicester is a low block team, they still could give a surprise. That's why we need Kante to cover the
Leicester
midfield.
is not a low block team. They're
No,
not
they play
possession
high.
team. We're not possession team, but we're definitely not low block.
Yeah,
Well, I've got a question for you, Chelsea fans. It's a bit off topic, but it's about Conte.
Of course it is, man. Of course. What shit do you
Oh,
want
for
to
God's sake, we
spend
don't
on?
care about Conte. He's going to ruin Spurs. So we
Not Conte, Conte.
Oh, Kante. I was thinking Conte.
Oh, sorry. I know you're getting tired of this of these comparisons, but you know Conte and Makaleli. I need to ask you this question because I've been seeing in the comments people saying Conte can't play in a pivot. In your personal opinions, who do you think was better, Conte or Makaleli?
you're asking me this first. Do you want me to answer it? Well,
I mean, everyone can chip in if they want to.
my answer to this is quite simple. They both played different type of styles in that position. I mean, you look at Makaleli, he was more of a deep line holding midfielder. It was named after him. He was more of a intercept. He intercept. I mean, Kante intercepts, but he intercepts everywhere. But Makaleli was the wall for our defense. When you used to ask John Terry and Carvalho about why is the defense so good, he used to say it was because of Claude Makaleli having him in front of us because he was just so good. He was so good at understanding, reading, and being in the game. And the thing with Kante is that he's great at intercepting. That's one of his strengths as well. But he also has the ability to go forward and go backwards and intercept and be everywhere. I think he had more of an energy bar to him than what Makaleli had, which would make him a little bit different in that sense. But they're both top players. I don't know why we've got to say Makaleli's better than Kante or Kante's better than Makaleli. They were just both different players and top
My
of what they
question
did.
is Makaleli of Chelsea or Makaleli of Real Madrid?
Well, there
No,
you go.
both. Joe, let me
Both
say
was
something
good.
about this.
Go
Yeah,
on.
Makaleli was like Claude Makaleli, yeah, and Kante. They're completely different players. Both brilliant players. You can't judge them really because Kante, what he does good is he tackles more than Makaleli used to. He tackles people. Makaleli was more of a flair player, passing, making sure no one got through to our defense. And they're both brilliant players. You can't judge them. You can't say one is better than the other.
I just think they're different, and the way you pick it is what you would prefer in your system, in your preferred formation, whatever that is in your head. And there's no right or wrong answer to it, Ram. To be honest, it's just what you require from your midfield. Does that make sense?
For me, if I will say something about it, the one who actually watched Makaleli and Kante play, Makaleli, everybody has that own style, the way they like to play. So they always be agenda. Like for me, Jorginho is not Jorginho is a good player, but if I'm building midfield, Jorginho will not make it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the way I like to build, for me, players like Makaleli, I will put it over Kante in my team, but not because Kante is worse player, just because the way I like the style of it. Makaleli will fit the better system than Kante.
Yeah, I would choose Kante. I would choose Kante if I had my preferred Chelsea 11, but that's because I want different requirements from him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you like the one way your team to play, I like the other way. So for us, but it doesn't mean that the Kante is not as good as Makalele, because
Kante's-
Makalele was
And
never break the lines in offensive position. Makalele always break up the lines in the defensive zones. He read the game in the defensive stages, like closer to the goals, better than Kante. But Kante in an open field, Kante just destroyer in the open field. He's like
Yeah.
a freaking maniac in the
Yeah,
open field.
he's just
And
everywhere, isn't he?
Makalele,
He's just got the energy
yeah,
bar.
Makalele
He's-
was nowhere near that what
Nah.
Kante is. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, no.
it's what you want from your midfielder, basically. It's what you
yeah,
want.
and for me it would be Kante. The reason why I would go for Kante is because Makelele is someone who's good in the counter-attacking sort of a formation, while you've got Kante who's good in the holding the ball, dominating ball possession. That is something that he can adapt to as well. Not I'm not saying that Makelele cannot do it, but Kante can do that better, is what I feel. So that's one thing. And before I just tell that Kante is better than Makelele, I'm not going to do that, because they are players of different generation, which means they played against players of different generation. So we'll have to take that as well into account. And no player is better than the other one if it is a generational comparison. So at this point in time, I'd still go for Kante, given the fact that there are certain aspects that he brings into the game, and that will be very helpful for Chelsea as a team. So I'd go for Kante.
Fair enough. What are you saying, Matt?
Man, I think Machiavelli started Chelsea when I was born, so
Yeah,
I've never
so it's
even
hard.
watched him. I've seen the
Yeah.
stats, I've seen that, but it's going to be Kante for me.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
And that's what I was gonna say. For the younger generations, Kante it's different. They never saw Makalele, how good.
Well, you know what, right? Ram
He
is
was-
the younger generation, but he does a lot of history reading. He goes to the
Well,
library.
he's a
and
Liverpool
watches
fan. The
DVDs and stuff.
Liverpool likes
So-
Liverpool fans likes
Hey,
history
Jem, allow it,
channels
man.
and all
Allow
that.
it. It's not no reading, bro. I got my time machine. Allow it, bro.
Well, you've been watching too many YouTube clips of
Nah,
Makalele.
exactly.
I got my time machine in the garage,
And,
bro. Got it. Ready.
And the other difference with Kante and McLegley is Kante is like having two players. We've got 12 players playing, when they're all playing good. You couldn't say that with McLegley. He was a great player, but you couldn't say he was like extra player for us.
Yeah.
But Kante is an extra player. He's unbelievable.
For me, Kante needs additional player to be beside him. Makalele could be by himself.
No, you got it the wrong way around, Redneck.
No. I'm saying like, could you play a single six?
No.
Kante?
Makalele could play as a single.
Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You guys tried that and it didn't work.
it didn't, because
Yeah.
Kante is not a DM. That's why it didn't work.
That's what I'm saying. But like, Kante is good in those breaking lines. He's good driving forward, and then he disappears in the final third. So
He's
for
not.
me,
Yeah.
for
He's
me,
not
he's
a
good in the-
CDM.
Go, keep going, man. Keep going.
Yeah, sorry. Just to clarify, because when I say DM, it sounds confusing. He's not a CDM. He's not a central defensive midfielder.
He's not a six. Not a six.
No, he's not a six. He's box to box.
Yeah, but I get a bit funny when people say Kante couldn't play in a six, because he done it at Leicester.
Play with Danny Drinkwater.
Drink water.
With a weaker team and
No,
won them a
Drinkwater
league.
was
They won a
beside him.
league.
Danny Drinkwater.
I think he was
Alone.
But Danny Drinkwater wasn't there
Not-
just to break. I mean, you saw what Danny Drinkwater used to do in them
Yeah,
days. He
do you
used to
know
get
the
ball and knock
do you know
50
the
yard-
difference?
50
You
yard
know why
goals. He
Kante
wasn't
is good
sitting
in
next to them,
France?
son.
Do you know why Kante is good in France?
Because
They had Paul Pogba. No,
and
because they had
Matuidi as
Pogba,
well.
that can cross the ball. That's what Drinkwater can do. Make the long crosses.
That's what I'm saying. But in terms
Yes,
of Kante,
but Kante doesn't do that.
No, but he doesn't need to do that. But my point is, in a deeper role, he's still good at protecting the back line.
Yes,
that
but
position.
in the modern
But do you
game,
think Makalele can
you
do
can't
the? But Redner, do you think Makalele can do what the likes of Pogba and Drinkwater can do? Those long balls.
Oh, he did sometimes, but he didn't do that all
was
the
very
time.
rare.
But he did, yeah.
Jem,
But he could do
occasions,
it
yeah.
actually. But he could do it actually.
I have a question for you, Jem. So would you say that Kante
Is it about haircut?
no, it's not. Is when I say Kante is not a CDM, I think about players like Fabinho, for example. Do you
Well,
think Kante
Busquets
is like?
is a good example.
Yeah,
You can use
Busquets.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Not a good example.
Jesus with the
going on, man?
bikes. Jesus with the bikes.
Again. I swear to the internet, man.
I think it's his time machine is acting up.
He's going back to when Liverpool last won the Champions League, I think.
While we're talking about Makelele, he's in his time machine going back to the games and then coming back. But yeah, go on. What are you saying?
Yeah, I just is Kante a similar player to Fabinho or Casemiro? I'm not sure he is.
No.
He's different. He's a little bit more mobile. You know,
But you can
he's,
still play in that position and play it differently. That's my point.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
fair.
have to be like them.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you get what I mean?
True.
Like,
yeah,
like you can still play that position and still do very well, but do it in a different way. Like, do you know? That's my thing with the whole. When you look at Obi Mikel, and that's a good example.
Yeah, Rebecca, I just watched it.
He was what you call a deep line defender. He was just literally just used to sit in midfield and just clear it up, and his ability on the ball with the ball at his feet, he could move the ball. You wouldn't see him doing long balls all the time. You wouldn't see him running the box. He might score. I remember him scoring a header in the first time in like 4 seasons or something at Stamford Bridge once. I remember that. But his game was to defend, you know what I mean, and protect the back line. That's how he played the game. Kante's game of playing in that position is just him having energy and just being able to
had the pace. If Mikel had the pace of Kante, he would.
No. Yeah.
No, I'm saying if he had the pace, he would be one of the best defensive midfielders in the world if he had the pace.
He was good, very good. He was. Was extremely underrated. He could ping a ball. He could carry the ball. He could tackle, intercept. He was quality. The Black Michael Carrick. Matic or Mikel. Interesting because Matic is another one. Again, sat deep, won the ball, but also could go forward.
Mikel every day. Mikel.
I don't think
you see the difference though. Do you see? Remember, I just said to you earlier about the difference in playing in that position. 2 different players playing in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, it's not always about he's the best because he plays like that way. That's his style. Everyone has their own different styles in that position. That's my point.
But Tuchel doesn't see it the same way. He would always say Kante is a 6-6 player.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what everybody's.
If you look at that's why he wanted him at PSG, Tuchel, I think.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Ram?
Well, if you look at the France team that he played with, he played with the likes of Matuidi and Pogba, who are. Well, Pogba is not defensively minded, but Matuidi was probably probably the perfect partner for him. It was almost as if they were playing a double pivot, and Pogba was like the roaming player that would just roam around the final.
Do you remember when Kante first came to Chelsea and he was playing next to Nemanja Matic, and that was our midfield? It was Matic and Kante that were our 2 players. They were like He done what Matic done is what Matuidi does for France. It was the same thing. Like they were close to each other, and they defended the defense very well, but. There was times where Kante was on his own and Matic would be more progressive. And the same with Tweedy. He always used to be more progressive going forward. Do you know what I mean? And they used to switch vice versa, is what I'm trying to get at. It's not always because
for me,
it's not
if Kante was on my team, I will look for the player like Liverpool's Alonso. Right beside him.
Yeah.
That will be deadly. That will be deadly. That's my preferred, like if you play double pivot.
Yeah, Abs, what are you saying? We're going to finish off in a minute. Tell me.
Well, I'm chilling. I'm still running with the agenda of we're going to win the league. We're going to go up to the KP tomorrow and we're going to cook Leicester. I'm telling you, it's going to be 2-0 within the first half an hour. It's going to be a covers.
Like the logo.
Yeah, come on.
AK-47s.
Abs, what type of cook is it, bro? You need to tell me what style of cooking you're going to do, bro.
Bro, it's going to be a fucking fast cooking, none of this slow cooking type thing. We're going to go in straight in from the get-go. Then we're going to slow it down and just let it roast after that. None of this, we're not going to ease into it. We're going to go straight in and we're just going to, make sure we do the job. Take it easy, rest everyone, because we've got a big game in midweek against Juventus. But I'm telling you right now, I don't get why everyone's not as confident as me in this. You see these next.
I'm very confident with this.
I see everyone
Gotta
says,
go,
man,
Jim. See you guys.
Yeah, cool, man. See you in a bit. See you later.
Yeah.
bro, we're gonna win all three of them. Every single one of them against Man United, against Leicester City, against Juventus. We're gonna win all of them, and we're gonna win all of them very convincingly as well. Watch.
Fair enough, bro.
Abs very
You
right.
heard it. Abs is a Mr. Confidence. To be fair, he's always been like that. Even when I was on the terrace, he used to come on and have his confidence with him. It's good. It's good to have that confidence, mate. But it wouldn't be much of a show if I just kept coming on here going, "Yeah, we're going to smash everyone." You know? I've got, you know what I mean? I've got to have that slight reservation and give up other opinions and stuff like that. But listen, Abs, we could win all three games. We could win all three games. We've got everyone back. We've got our forward line back. We've got no injuries other than Kovacic, really, when you think about it. At the moment, he'll be back for the Man United game, I reckon. So we're ready. Bring on December. 7 games in December. Premier League games in December. Massive, you know. So we'll have to see how that goes. Guys, smash the like button. Let's get them likes up. Before you leave GNA TV, please subscribe. We've still got 120 of you here. If you all subscribe, we'd probably all be on 3.1k. I mean, unless you've already done that, which I thank you very much for doing so. But please do that before you leave. Leave a comment below as well. Chelsea play tomorrow at 12:30. There will be a match reaction at some point to that game, so we will be back. We'll be to have chats after the game as well. Big up to all you guys as well in the panel. Thank you for all coming on and getting involved and having your says and whatever else. And enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully we're all happy and smiley tomorrow with 3 points in the bag after the international break. But
And we can watch
peace out
League One and
yourselves.
Arsenal destroy
Take
each other.
care. You heard what Ab says. We're getting 9 points in 9 games in all competitions. Peace.
Okay, come on, big up.